second position. Now we're gonna move on towards the ground. So today we're gonna focus on escaping leg entanglement. So we have a opponent on his back, and a very common scenario where we start passing is he engages my legs and he puts me in leg entanglements. And we're gonna look at all the leg entanglements today, but first we're gonna start off with single leg X or Remiyashi. So this one, it's an open wedge. His legs aren't physically triangled, so it's a little bit easier to escape. But because his legs aren't physically triangled, it's also easier for him to start wrestling up and getting onto the knees, off balance to me, and then standing up and then shooting double legs and things like that. So get to your knees and start shooting double legs, yep, and passing me across and sweeping me and doing things like that. So I want to think about standing the whole time. The more athletic I am, the harder it is for him to control me. So the more I can stay on my feet and avoid dropping down to my knee or my butt, the safer it is for me, because it's more movement, and if I can move more, I can escape more. My main goals from here is to separate the lock he has around my hip. But first, we're gonna talk about staying safe and keeping balance. So he wants to knock me down to a knee or my butt. I wanna stay standing, and how I'm gonna do that is via my head position. If I let my head go over my knee when he extends, extend, I have to put my hand on the mat, drop down to my hip, and I have to get knocked towards my butt. But if I think about taking my head forward as he tries off balancing me, see how it's quite easy for me to maintain standing? So as long as my head is over like so, I'm safe. Try not to go too much, because I expose my head too much, then he goes into reaps and heel hooks. So there's a sweet point where my head is down, but not too far down where he reaps me, and my head isn't too far up where he takes me across, right? And what are you gonna do? You're gonna experiment with your partner and find this point where you're safe. So he tries off balancing me, he tries reaping me, tries to extend, I can stay in this position quite safe. So it's all about head position. My second step is clearing the lock he has around my hip. So when I wanna clear, it can be quite hard accessing it. So what I think about doing is bringing my head and hips forward, and notice how this exposes the ankle. If I stay here, it can be quite hard. So bring my hips forward and now expose. And now, notice once you separate the lock around the hip, his hips will come towards the floor, and now you can start escaping single leg X. From here, our first initial drill is just bring your foot close, rotate your heel inside his lock, and just extract your foot. And now we can go towards the outside and start going into our passing, right? So, a couple things going on. We approach my opponent, we're trying to pass, he entangles my legs. From here, first step, stay safe, right? Try not to drop to your knee, try not to drop to your butt. He tries off balancing, it's all about head position. Bring your hips forward, clear that. Foot comes close, rotate your heel towards the inside of his grip, pull out, and now we're back towards a neutral position. We're gonna look at what if we can't pull our foot out next. If we can't pull our foot out, then we can bring our other foot towards the inside, which we'll do in a second. Make sense? Any questions? No? All right, so how are you gonna drill? He's gonna get into your legs. He's gonna off balance you. It's gonna be somewhat realistic. Head comes up, clear, extract, and disengage. Yep, let's go. 3, 2, 1. What if we cannot pull our foot out for whatever reason? We're gonna look at that now. So when we're escaping single leg X, we're gonna make it very simple for you. You wanna think about doing two things. You wanna either, one, pull your heel out and extract and go towards a neutral position, or end up in a position where your feet is on the same side of his body. So see how my feet is on the same side of his body? Anytime my feet on the other side of his body like so, he has a leg entanglement. So those are my two goals. Either pull my foot out, and if I can't do that, move myself in a position where I can pummel my foot towards one side of his body. And now we're gonna look at the second part now. So we talked about ejecting, bringing our foot forward, rotating, and extracting at the hip. Sometimes when I try doing this, he stays sticky and it's hard. Whether if he uses two hands, more than likely, I can't extract. So if I feel like he has two hands on the leg, I need another option. So if his hand is dedicated towards blocking the inside of my shin, it's not dedicated to blocking me stepping around. So the moment I feel that hand go on my shin, I'm just gonna step, circle, 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 and end up with my feet on either side of his body. Now as he tries to recover and guard, I can pin his ankles, I can come down, start scooping the legs and start going towards my pass. If I feel like the hand is maybe outstretched, but I still can't put my foot out as I try extracting, I'm just gonna step, circle, and back step or high pummel. So if I feel like this leg is high, I pummel inside of the knee, and if he's pulling his knee towards his chest, and he's blocking the high pummel, then I just back step, right? So very simple, just end up in a position where your feet are on one side of his body, right? Or end up in a position where you just extract your leg. So once again, we go towards here. First step, keep your balance. He tries off balancing you, your head comes forward, bring your hips in, extract. this is good. We either pull, if that fails, we have options like stepping out, or if you use 2 hands on my legs, dropping down and going for that. Yep, one more thing. You can also start chaining them together. So let's say we go here, we try extracting, we try pummeling, but that fails. We can just go back towards rotating and pulling out. Make sense? Yep, let's go. 3, 2, 1. See the like pull and the step around. So we get stuck in single leg X. First, we're gonna talk about the step around. So I wanna make sure my leg isn't in a position where he can grab it. So if I do this, but I bring my leg very close to his hip, he grabs my leg, he grabs both of my legs, sorry, and then he probably off balances me because I have both legs stuck. So ideally, when you're in this position, you're always taking your leg in a position where you can't grab it. And if he ever grabs it, alarm bell should be going through your head, and you should be thinking about stripping and pummeling your toes towards the inside and stepping out, right? Never just pull straight backwards. If you pull straight backwards, you're not gonna pull out. It's about bringing your foot forward and then backwards. So when you bring your foot forward, you clear the grip and then you can step out like this. Now, we separate the feet. You want to think about clearing our foot. It's all about pummeling my heel towards the inside. So take an Achilles grip. Good. If I just pull my foot straight out, my toes run into his armpit, especially if he's very tight. So what I want to do is take myself up on my toes. Yeah, pull a bit. Good. And rotate my heel and do this motion while I widen my knee. So I'm bringing my heel in first. Now I think about sinking backwards, keeping my leg straight. I don't pull up my leg because it gets caught into his armpit. I think about pulling up my hip. So I use my hip to pull. You can see how I can rotate my heel towards the inside. And once my heel is towards the inside, it's very easy for me to extract. Now, option number 2. So we talked about if I can't extract, I need another option. So let's say he goes 2 hands towards my foot, my foot. Good. If I stay on my toes here and I start rotating, it's gonna be very awkward for me to spin my leg because my toes are kind of stuck on the mat. So from here, I kind of want to do the opposite. I'm gonna move from my toes to onto my heel. So I'm gonna dorsiflex my foot. So pretend this foot is this foot, I'm on my heel. This makes it easier for me to spin around in one place and get towards the side. Yep. And then last detail, with this step towards the side, you're gonna chain the back step and the high pummel. So once we're here and we try stepping out, we're gonna back step, and if he tracks, we high pummel. Or if we high pummel and he pulls the knee to his chest, then we back step, right? So 3 key details. Once again, single leg X. First detail was pulling your heel towards the inside and pulling at the hip. Second detail was, if you feel 2 hands go in the leg, dorsiflex, spin around the corner. Third detail was, we try back stepping, chaining the back step and the high pummel together. So if one fails, just simply go towards the other one. Make sense? Yep, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Position, right? We're here. Right, we take this group on the secondary leg just to create space. I bring my heel. If I feel like his hand is pushing on my knee, I can drop down and I can claim a crossface and under. So from here, think about dropping your chest, back stepping, and going towards here. Now, if you can lock your hands from outside ashi in any type of upper body grip, you can pass the guard. And now you not only escape, you end up in a position where you're past the guard, connected to them chest to chest, and you can immediately go towards attacking. So this is probably a better option because you end up in a better position. So if we're here, we can now start going on the offense. Now, yes, your leg is still stuck, but remember, outside ashi, because his leg is locked towards the outside, it's not very good at stopping me from coming into him, right? If he had this leg on the inside, urumi ashi, good. Then this would be still a good option, but it would be easier for him to extend me away. But because this leg is all the way on the outside, if I can get outside his knees, now I can pass. So first, attach yourself towards the head and arm, and think about leaning your head in this direction and pinning the shoulder. Now, very important, don't widen your knee, turn your knee in. Pressure your head to the mat and get your toes on the mat, and now just extend and sprawl, and you end up in a position where you can separate his feet. Even if he has an extremely tight Achilles grip, it doesn't matter. Now from here, take your time. You can pummel your foot towards the inside, probably look for double underhooks, now pass. Resist the urge to just pass straight to side control because you don't have the underhook on the far side. So it's always gonna be able to wrestle up and escape. So because we're here, we're gonna stay within the legs, look for double underhooks, or just pummel your other knee through and think about stepping over towards mount, right? The finishing isn't the important part. The main thing about understanding the escape and attaching yourself towards that crossface and underhook. So once again, now we're looking at combining these 2 escapes together. He's here, we're in this position. We try going for this escape, but he's pushing on my knee, so I can't really get my knee in a good position. But he's leaving his elbow exposed. He's not pushing him away. So I drop down, I get my chest over his shins. I do a back stepping motion. Now he's stuck. Once I have here, just thinking about not letting his knees go towards the inside. So just drop your chest. We'll go in this position. Try to escape. Take your time. No rush. Building up your knees towards the mat. Separate his feet. Mount him. Go through your moves. Right? It's not that advanced. Just lock your hands and you'll be fine. Yep, 3, 2, 1.